Hey, folks, welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I am your nerderator, Dustin House, spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. You're going to find me here on LinkedIn Live every Tuesday and Thursdays around 12:15 and anywhere you get your podcast. So please consider subscribing. My nerd guest of the day, Joey Asselson. Did I get
There
it?
you go. You got it. You got it.
Hot diggity.
Yes.
I didn't even give you a title. What's your official title, Joey? Tell them
My
all.
official title is Director of Growth for Team Bespoke.
Director of Growth at Team
Yes.
Bespoke.
Yes.
Welcome to the Nerdatorium, Joey.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here. Excited to be here. And I have to toss this out there during the prep because your setup is great.
Oh,
Key podcast setup.
well, thank you. Yeah, I got a microphone, I got the headphones, I got some good lighting.
Yeah.
I'm
Is
just
it
worried.
plugged in? I don't know, but it looks great.
Well, I hope so. Everybody hear me here. This is great. Awesome. Joey and I are going to be live for the next 30 to 45 minutes. Please, if you have any questions about affiliate, about influencer, about content commerce, jump on into the chat and drop a question. And without further ado, here, Joey, who are you?
So I am by trade just a partnership marketing professional. Been in the space for almost 9 years now, which has been really, really exciting. I've been, loving just finding a channel in marketing that allows me to focus on my love of people, but also, driving performance for my brands. Much more exciting than putting in a bid cap and calling it a day. So started my career at CJ Affiliate. So learned really the fundamentals there, hopped in right out of college, and then went over to the brand side for a number of years and just was really excited to kind of learn more about the marketing mix and how the work that I was doing at CJ was fitting into everything. So joined a company called Swanson Health Products and was there for a few years overseeing their affiliate as well as several other channels. And then took a leap into B2B, which is kind of where content reared its head again. It's tough to get content partners to talk about ingestibles. So it was fun to kind of re-engage this audience and a different group of publishers selling a software and focusing on that group. So assisted in launching their reseller referral program and their affiliate programs there before hopping on over to Team Bespoke because I got tired of selling software and was ready to sell products again.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So you found your career path to get back into the product. So why that's I feel like everybody's going the opposite direction right now with as much AI is coming into play and B2B software is hot. Why go the opposite way?
So, I mean, the B2B software space, it was a lot of fun, but I just felt really siloed. And I had kind of had that feeling a little bit on the brand side, especially for a large part of this being through the pandemic. On the brand side, I kind of found my peers and counterparts at our conferences and gatherings. And without those, I was real alone at Sprout. And so, the team was wonderful, but I felt like I was at a rapid growth stage in my career and was looking for what was next and going back kind of onto the retail side of thing and the agency side of things allowed me to touch more programs, to learn more, to kind of stay up to date on all of the trends. And so it was a large part of one, just kind of diversifying my day to day, but also, finding some counterparts in the thick of it that I can chat with every day. And then obviously continued learning. So.
Well, it's good that you have that self-awareness and that you're doing what you love and getting back into the verticals that you want to be a part of. And also like that concept of like not necessarily a startup phase where you guys are, or maybe you are in that, but like just having that smaller company feel just feels so much more at home for me. I think you feel the same.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I report directly into the founders and have that relationship. And it just is a place that's made me feel very like a part of almost like a family, but also somebody that's able to influence decisions and have a say. And it's just been really enjoyable to collaborate and, move Team Bespoke forward.
Yeah. Well, speaking of great collaborations, that's how we got to meet each other a couple of years back when I was at
Yeah.
Covey and you at Sprout there, and we had a good connection, and that's why you're on this episode today, because you're good people, and I've always enjoyed your energy and your expertise. So really excited to get you in here and into this nerdatorium. If you want to know more about Joey, I dropped in the chat a link to his profile, so go on in there and get that. If you would like to be in Joey's seat, come be a guest. Go to dustinhouse.com/nerd and drop your application in today. I would love to speak to anybody that wants to nerd out about affiliate. All right, Joey, let's talk about Bespoke and what you guys are doing out there and who you're serving.
Yeah, so Team Bespoke is a digital partnership marketing consulting agency. I don't always like to say affiliate because the work that we do has gone really just beyond kind of those traditional tracking links. And we've really found a new way to take an overarching view of our clients' partnerships in the digital space and kind of optimizing a variety of different channels. So we mainly focus on emerging and startup brands, which is where our founders have their passion and where we have found our passion as well. It's really great to help these up and coming companies make an impact in a space that is a little bit more nuanced and sometimes considered confusing by some. And so we've really focused there, and we do a wide variety of different services. So we have celebrity seating offerings, PR offerings, content commerce management. We also oversee a few of our clients' influencer programs, and then kind of that traditional affiliate approach as well. And tracking. So we do quite a few, and we've really over the past year veered a bit more into kind of that like PR space, which we found can be married really, really well to the affiliate channel and the skill set that we've been using over a number of years, and then kind of translating it into this new promotional method.
Gotcha. And so you've seen them transition, and maybe you were hired on to be an extra arm of a certain facet and like an expert in this field rather than that field. And you guys seem to be expanding your reach by your offerings that you have out there. You guys had a start in one spot, but like where is the future going for you guys, and like where's the most activity for each one of those channels, even though they're doing a little bit of overlapping, but where's the future in this?
Yeah, so I mean, we definitely have kind of that traditional affiliate partnership down, but the way that we've tackled the content commerce space has been really big, and we've been tackling it through a variety of ways. And so part of the reason I like to say it's like more of a partnership marketing consulting agency versus an affiliate consulting agency is that we don't necessarily always use the affiliate channel to necessarily amplify these relationships. And they definitely can. These methods can be done through there, but we also run direct, but we run CPC and EPC campaigns. And we've really diversified the way that we're able to get promotional coverage for our clients with a lot of these major publications. And then a secondary tier of that is definitely kind of this influencer space. As it continues to become more prominent and there's a lot more focus on influencer tools and coverage, especially with the rise of TikTok. I know that brands have really struggled to get their organic content highly promoted there. And so now there's a new need to kind of bring in these creators in order to either repurpose that content or use them and their ranking with the algorithm to get in front of it. And so really focusing on those two buckets, I think will be very key, like an expansion. So continuing to stay on top of those trends that are enabling, strong content commerce relationships, kind of figuring out ways to navigate around, last click attribution and other ways to support these types of relationships. And then finally, I think influencers, it's here to stay. I think we always have known that. And, while we have TikTok now, give it 2 years, we'll have a new one, and then it'll be a new learning experience. So I think that's something that's always going to be having to grow on our side of things and continue. Things.
Oh, great. So let's take a step back and explain what content commerce is for the audience, and where you guys have found the sweet spot in what this is, and how it evolved from either affiliate or how affiliates like adapting to it.
Yeah. So content commerce to me, I kind of, to like dumb it down because it is a little confusing, but I always look at content as, editorial content or pure editorial content. And those are going to be like larger overarching stories. Maybe it's a founder message, etc. And then you're going to have your shoppable or shopping content, which I think kind of encompasses content commerce, but I think calling it shopping content, well, basically the same thing, is a little more straightforward. And so that would be content with a shopping focus or a conversion driver. And so it's really great. So it's a focus more so on brand awareness, but we take that affiliate spin on it and make it a shopping moment as well. Because I think affiliate, regardless of what method we're taking, it is always a channel that is looked at to potentially drive sales, what's more transactable. And so this content commerce set up these listicles. They've been around for a long time, but those are really what we're focusing on here. So, just to kind of like pull ahead, like as we think about the holidays, like gift guides, perfect example of content commerce and shoppable content that's aimed at driving conversions as well as brand awareness. So it would have that conversion driver in it rather than purely being more so about a story, and kind of that's the way I look at it. I don't know if that's correct or not, but
No, I like the definition of it. So it's a more convenient way to shop, and for the end users, you're getting the content and making that a clickable piece of content, essentially. Yep. Am I getting it?
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. So evolving into that, you guys are not in a traditional last click or like a CPA basis for the folks that you're working with. And I want to get into this rise of CPC, which is a very interesting concept. Traditionally, affiliate marketing wants to work off of sale and at the very least a lead. And like the click is kind of it's a little bit scary here to be working on clicks. Tell us more about how you guys are finding success in this space.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, kind of to go back, like we do work with majority of our clients on a last click basis. And I think that's what makes the CPC and EPC so important at this time. I think, we've all, and those that are in the industry, there's always been talk of multi-touch attribution, splitting commissions amongst partners. And I think it's a slow adoption. I think it's very difficult. Not all partners can work in that way. And I think overall change, especially change when it comes to money, takes time. And I think kind of dividing up those commissions is making that confusing and difficult for brands. But because that last click is such like a strong industry standard, these CPC campaigns allow for these content partners, especially, and also EPC, same thing, just kind of different setups. But they allow for these partners to promote brands without necessarily always having that fear that they're not going to be that last click in that attribution window. And so I find it to actually, strengthen relationships, saying like, hey, you may be creating the shopping content and you may at the end of your experience have a software partner or another volume, a coupon deal, a loyalty partner that's intervening and taking that sale from them. And majority of programs aren't set up to be splitting these commissions. It's complicated. There's a lot of pieces on the back end. What does it look like for loyalty? It just is a bigger and different beast to manage. And so with these tools, we're able to set bid caps and get content to be created in a way that the publications are still feeling as though they're earning something for the efforts that they're driving. And they also still do earn commission. They obviously are last click here and there, but it does kind of put that safety net and allow them to have a little bit more confidence in the partnership without having to worry about it. I mean, we can raise commission rates all we want every day to cover the cost, but if they're not that last click, it's not always going to matter.
Oh, okay. Interesting concept. So you're saying you're working with them on a CPC, but they also get paid maybe a much lower CPA on top of compared to your other partners.
Yep. And that's where like this benefit of this EPC comes through. And that's like an earnings per click model. And that is also, again, to, add that additional value to the publication or publisher. And so with that, we essentially guarantee that they'll earn a certain amount of commission for the clicks that are driven. And so with this, we can leave our CPA at a high level and we'll put a cap in on how much can go through. But essentially, whatever clicks they drive, we offer like whatever the differential is, they should earn X dollars for this number of clicks then we will remove the commission from that total and pay the difference, if that makes sense.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's like a tiered kind of setup. So we guarantee they'll earn X dollar amount for these clicks, but also it alleviates some stress on like the advertiser in the sense that like we're able to still take account in that commission in terms of our payment for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's pretty brilliant. I mean, two big success parts of this concept. The first is you're driving your EPC numbers up. The partners that are joining your program are going to see a higher EPC on whatever platform that you're on. That's going to be more appealing to them. So that number going up naturally, just spot on and great. And then the second part of this is you're opening up a new level of opportunities. So oftentimes when you're trying to recruit affiliates and you're just on a CPA basis, they say, no, we need some kind of sponsorship. Well, now we've got this other carrot we can dangle with the CPC. They might be interested in that. And I love this theory here.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. It's worked out for like our book of business especially well. You know, as I mentioned before, we work on a lot of emerging brands, and with the way that content has been performing and like the traffic and the impressions that they're getting, but because that like last click isn't always there, we're seeing some of these like sponsored posts, you know, go up to 10K, 15K. And that's really tough to, you know, make that choice when you're a small business and you have you know the options like, do we funnel this 15K into like our Amazon spend, or do we take it and get some, you know, brand awareness, maybe some shopping content, etc. But it's a really tough choice to make, and I think it's important that brands have, you know, always that like full marketing mix. And so I think this allows for them to be more strategic with that flat dollar amount while still kind of holding on to that performance model that we're so used to in the affiliate space.
Yeah, that's super smart. And I love it that it's for emerging brands, but I mean, this could be for even any level brands could adapt into this. It's just a smart strategy, and I like the way you guys are going about it. I would assume you have to have the right affiliate platform to be working on this kind of model, because not every one of them out there is really intuitive to this kind of structure, if you will. Like, what are some of your favorite picks here for brands working on this?
So I definitely feel as though there's just a few pieces that I think are key, and that would be like the technology behind it, the ease of setup, the event tracking. But you know, in full transparency, not all the networks are set up in this way, but I don't think that should be like a hindrance. I'm running a EPC campaign right now with a very large and well-known fashion publication, and we are taking care of this with like quick and dirty math and emails. And so like I don't think technology needs to necessarily be a hindrance for it, because also that technology can raise up the costs if you're only going to be running a few of these, you know, here and there. So like to add on an additional like action tracker for CPC campaigns, additional network fees, etc., it will get to the point where that's probably necessary, but everybody's still very early on in these stages, and this is very new still, that I think a lot of it can be done through direct communication, which is really, you know, kind of how I've been doing it, and even working out custom packages. Maybe it wasn't always in, you know, this publication's like wheelhouse, but they're open to hearing more about it. And so there's a lot of different options. So I don't want to like necessarily give a network recommendation. Most networks are able to handle like a CPC campaign, but it would have to be done at the point of integration, and it would change the way that things are set up. And so like I don't want to be like, I don't want, you know, it just feels like a lot, in my opinion, running a couple of campaigns that could be very fruitful, but you know, too many cooks in the kitchen at that point to get this one thing out the door.
For sure. And maybe even the solution is, I mean, you could work on two networks that would be a little messy. You know, you're right. Like I hate complication. Like simplicity is so key, but maybe even like, you know, doing webhooks to help with the automation of this and make your workflow a little bit better might be in that mix. go ahead. And what were you going to say, Joey?
Totally. There's definitely like third-party tools. A tool that I've used often is Linkbee. And so if people have been at conferences, I'm sure they've seen their team running around. Wonderful group of people. They're great. And so they've created essentially like a bidding portal. And so this will allow brands to go through and load in essentially a pitch. They're able to set certain settings if they want it to be dedicated content, if they want it to be listicle inclusions. And then the brand can go in and set a bid cap and then also what they want to bid for CPC. And then this pitch gets tossed into the larger marketplace of all these brands. And you can pick who you send your pitch to. And so this is, Condé Nast, all these properties, I've had campaigns picked up through there, and then they spend and they'll drive traffic to the article or whatever the inclusion is at that CPC rate. And at the end of the campaign, they either hit their mark and then you are at your bid cap, or you can repurpose those funds, add more on. But it's another way that you can kind of track and handle those payments. And I know, there are worries about running directly and kind of having those direct conversations and not having that third party kind of mediator in there, especially when you're offering, flat spend, et cetera. So Linkbee has been a great tool. I'm sure there's a lot more coming up. That's one that I've been using recently. So there are other options outside of the network and running direct via third.
Gotcha. Smart. And I love that concept, thinking outside the box. This industry is getting better tools every single day out there for affiliate managers to use and be successful. So you're just stressing the importance of getting out there and educating yourself to what else is going out there. And, speaking of education, I better thank our sponsor here, Performance Marketing Manager. Do you know everything I know about this industry? I don't think so. Well, you're in luck, because I jammed everything I know into an 8-hour training course going over fundamentals and advanced tactics that affiliate managers need to know to succeed. On top of that, you're going to get instant access to me and my community in group coaching sessions, including hot seats and talking about your program. So no matter where you are in your career in digital marketing, you need new tactics for the affiliate channel to grow. I'm going to give you your money back if you don't like what you see. Go to performancemarketingmanager.com and get started now. Performancemarketingmanager.com. And switching gears here, Joey, working with PR agencies, this is a big part of what you guys are doing. And that's not a space I'm very attuned with. Tell us what you guys are doing and how it kind of overlaps in that affiliate realm as well.
Yeah, so obviously we got some trade secrets, so can't share everything. But, there are different ways to look at what PR teams are doing and how that can better influence the decisions that we're making in the affiliate space and the partnership space. I have always felt like, kind of that traditional affiliate and PR relationship has really been about whether that be new product launches, kind of more on that e-commerce side of the PR, where they're talking about, the why behind a new product, et cetera. And I think there's better ways that we can be working brand stories into content. And especially now that, content commerce is being picked up and, performance is coming through these articles, et cetera. I think there's a lot of ways that affiliate and agency teams can repurpose what's being created and brand messages to drive further inclusions of their products. And so it can be, kind of a larger, broad appeal, whether that be, again, like those products, but also it can be giving initiatives. It can be founder moments. It can be celebrity moments. I have one of my clients, Meghan Markle, is like always in her jeans and everybody loves it. And I, get a simple image of it and I send it out and I work with, the PR team to identify if that was like a gifted thing, whatever, what the product is. And then I blast it out and it's included everywhere. It's on ET the next day. It's in Vogue the next day. And, you start to see these things and you realize that we can take kind of these PR, what would have been a normal PR moment, and make it a shopping moment. I think we've all seen an article on the web of like this makeup loved by X, Y, and Z. And those perform very strongly, and brands are very interested in that type of coverage, and so are consumers. So there's a lot more that can be done, and they can also assist in just crafting like the overall brand message that, I think there just needs to be stronger communication. And so we do that by one, like conversating with their teams, learning what's on their roadmap, what's on their brand calendar, how can we repurpose this to our own initiatives. If it's about, new colors this season and they have a brand new color palette, well, like that doesn't seem exciting in affiliate immediately. Is like, okay, there's a bunch of new colors of like the same item. But what I do with it is like, now it is the colors of fall. Here are like the top selling articles of this brand new rebrand for this season's trendiest color. And I can send that out, and then I get a bunch of coverage on this season's trendiest colors and my clients' brand new color swatches. And it's a listicle shopping article. And just crafting those different types of messages into how you're communicating with your partners is really changed all of that. And also the brands really enjoy it. It's not only a shopping feature, but it also explains more about what's going on with their brand with kind of those storytelling moments that you're able to pull from it.
Excellent. And it seems like a trend in the affiliate realm, at least, that PR agencies are coming into the affiliate realm and vice versa. And why do you think that trend is so heavy right now? Is it just too easy with the overlap, and like you make it some great points with like there's content out there that we should be sharing with our partners, but why this industry trend now?
So I think it's like the drive for numbers. I mean, I think it's almost the other way in that affiliate agencies on our side of kind of the marketing and all of those pieces and communications, we have so many metrics. And now as shopping, commerce, and these different things become more popular, I have a lot of metrics on engagement for a lot of the same publications that a brand's PR team is already reaching out to. And so I'm able to tell you like, okay, well, like this was a great like collab, and it's so great that you were able to get all these things included, but I can tell you like, this was maybe a waste of time. Like one person clicked on it. Like we should be focusing our efforts elsewhere. Like our brands or these products aren't resonating with this publication. So then like maybe we hold back on pushing further PR pieces to them, and we focus someplace else where their audience seems to resonate more strongly with the brand. But this is details that PR agencies don't have traditionally or haven't had access to. And it's metrics we've always had access to and we're very familiar at looking at, and that we're analyzing every day. And while we're making different types of strategic decisions, like those same metrics can be repurposed to make different types. Like I work all the time with commerce publications or media publications, and I see, well, like this was a great inclusion, a lot of great brands, but I'm not seeing a lot of clicks on it. Maybe I need to diversify my efforts and find like a different avenue. Like now I can tell who's engaging with these storytelling pieces or content in general. And another thing is too, you can marry PR stories to your own. I mean, you can have PR if they're going to be running something with a publication, you can kind of get behind that at the same time and go to the other side of the business and kind of say, hey, like, we know that you're going to be running these stories and you've been in contact with this brand. Like, let's make a shopping post about it as well and like link to it. And then we can do the commissions here.
Awesome. So. Awesome. Double dipping. I love that idea. Yeah. Awesome. I've always thought it'd be a great idea. And I am doing this to some extent at this point, is like clients that I take on, I become affiliates of theirs as well. So I'm generating content. So if I'm launching a program, I'm going to be one of their first affiliates out there and build content around them and what they're doing. And maybe there's room for that in that space as well. You're just like throwing those ideas, mixing worlds, and maybe it's a conflict of interest in itself sometimes, but I think if you're driving good value in one way and then a secondary way, you're only providing more value for your clients. So I like the way you guys are thinking about things in that space. Switching gears a little bit, I don't know much about the editorial value in working with editors. Traditionally, my outreach has gone out as an affiliate manager to editors, and I've had a very limited amount of success getting a hold of them, getting responses from them. And I've always seemed to run into certain content sites that have editorial integrity, and it can be a big hurdle to get over to get our brand listed on whatever content they have existing. Tell us what you're doing with editorial and kind of your strategy about this.
Yeah, this is definitely something that also comes up for me. I mean, I think just in general, if you're going to be casting like a wide net and emailing a lot of editors, expect like the second you hit send to hear 1,000 pings of out of offices, not doing this, don't work on Fridays, a bunch of different things. In my next life, I'm coming back and I'm being an editor
You
because
think
like
so?
it's
You
on
think
their out of
so?
offices are doing great things.
All right.
So love that. But I think, just building relationships, I think some of my best like communications are send a few cold emails and something will eventually, catch their fancy. I think it's always important to remember, and, it's been talked about all the time, like their emails are just full of things. And so
Sure.
just because like an email's ignored, you gotta get like that thick skin with it again. And like, it's not necessarily that like they didn't have, they weren't interested in it. It's just, it's not their focus right now. I've even, kind of taken some time to like meet with content commerce editors and writers and freelancers to just kind of do some like learnings. And I found out that like some of these writers are tasked with like 150 pieces of content for a month to like put together, and just like shopping articles. And so I would say continue to email. You never know when they're going to get one and they go back and search for their email for like a call out for a product that aligns with what they're talking about right then. So consistency and just that continued outreach is super key. For those publications that have that editorial focus, those are a little bit more difficult to get in front of. But I think that's where kind of implementing the seeding and gifting strategy comes into play. And that's something that I found success with. It's not like, hey, I don't care if you want to like write about it. I don't care if you did this. I just think this product's really cool. I'm going to mail it to you.
Yeah.
And go from there. And, it doesn't have to be so forced. It can just be building awareness. I mean, how else do people hear about new products that they want to test? Another thing with editorial coverage and those that are super focused on it, send some other places that content's been included. Mm-hmm. Like show that other publications find this to be editorial worthy.
Great.
And, make a case that like, hey, this is trending. Here's a celeb moment. Here's a TikTok that like went viral about, this great new makeup or this great new pair of jeans that everybody's loving. So really focus on kind of, you're never going to break through having conversations around rates or anything like that. It's almost like you hit a wall until you're able to either send the product and just be like, do with it what you want. I don't care. Donate it. It doesn't matter. Just like somebody just needs to touch and feel the fabric, or looking and seeing like, hey, this has become wildly popular elsewhere. Your team may not be aware of this, but like XYZ celebs are using this and they had it in their post. So-and-so on this TV show was wearing these sunglasses and we think, they're really cool. They got a great price and like they're also running a sale or something. So thinking ways around to kind of like build that knowledge base without really like asking for. So like you're almost at this point being an editorial person yourself and just like you're creating the content about why this is cool and hot and then sending it for others to emulate.
Yeah, you bring up some really killer points there. I think the most success I've ever had with an editor or any editors in that realm is getting a relationship with the affiliate manager first and having them make the introduction. That's the easiest way in their inbox to a response. I think the other option is if you have something so unique that they don't have content on it and a product that is like top of the line market right now. Those are easier ways to get in than just trying to get on a list and like that's 10 deep, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And with that too, like, when you make conversation with like that content commerce editor and it is an editorial driven publication, ask them what's on their roadmap. Like maybe now is not the time. Like, are they going to be like, hey, we're refreshing like a guide on this and we're looking for some like great products. Okay. But like, hey, I have kind of like a market leader in it. You all haven't talked about it or really tested it, but like, I know that this is coming up. So being more strategic about that and just focusing on what they already have planned will allow to kind of create those spaces where you may be able to squeeze something in. And once something's done once, then it keeps happening.
Yeah.
So then you see that success.
Yeah, and sometimes you can throw money at the problem and
You
get
can
that
also throw money. Yes.
squeezed in there,
I mean,
right?
everybody says they're purely editorial, but for some odd reason, they still have a minimum commission rate. And if you're below the competition, it lowers it. You just kind of got to like read through the wording on some
Yeah,
things.
this is still a business at the end of the day, and whatever, even if the editors aren't a big fan, but the business development team says we've got to do this, they're under an obligation to get it done. So money will talk in those kinds of situations if you have a budget. And one of my favorite portions of that is whoever's on that first SERP is most valuable on those monster keywords that you have. So if you go and wiggle your way in and throw money at the problem, you can work your way up there on basis of not a commission structure, but upfront fees.
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, Joey, switching gears here. It is that time to go out there and defend your post. So I brought up a little something. It's nothing super embarrassing. It's just an old spot from when you were on Sprout and you were talking about a closer look at what brands need to know during about COVID-19.
Yeah.
This is this is not evergreen content at this point. Like
No.
years old.
Fingers crossed. This
Like,
is not evergreen content.
it really is just like a fingers crossed. But when you guys, my question here is, when you come up with this, you have no idea if it's going to be evergreen or not, and like you were just throwing up the like, how much emphasis do you have on the future when an article like this goes out?
That article, like, I'm kind of glad you brought that up because it did just remind me. Sprout had done some of the coolest things with even just working with like the CDC and social monitoring around different trends. And this is something that, we set up as well to kind of just show what was going on with COVIDs and people's sentiments around it and like what people were talking about and just kind of like why or what they needed. I mean,
Okay.
Sprout even made decisions on this because they saw that people were like unsure of when businesses were open and closed. And like, that's a really great tactic to get people to get a social media management software. Like, you got to talk to them and you maybe didn't before. But I think the main piece on that was the tools that were used to measure and monitor said messages. So now I feel like I'm like giving Sprout a little shout out here, but yeah, they do some really cool stuff with like social listening and brand sentiments, and it is wildly specific to geolocation and all those pieces. It's really cool and a great tool for brands to have in like their wheelhouse, but it also, can be used for different things like seeing where COVID's on the rise, where people are talking about it, where is, like an outbreak, what are people's concerns. But I think you got to take out the crisis of it and look back, okay, well, like, let's do that for like competitors or like different brands. So I do think it has a little bit of evergreen content. You just kind of got to spin it.
Really? Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair enough. I mean, it is just such a wild world that we're in, post-COVID era, like that we're in, and looking back on that kind of content is always hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And I'm so interested in concepts of like, how is that going to hold up in the end? Like, and
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm still surprised that like remote work has held on as long.
really,
I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong,
sure.
but I just kind of, I think like had the pandemic lasted like a year and a half, like shorter, we would all be in our desks right now.
Okay. That's fair. I think that's fair. I think there is a transition and a movement moving forward. I see the job market closing down, and especially what we're doing and people having to go back in the office, which is sad because I thought it was here to stay. I'm never going back. I'm not taking a job in the office. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Those days are done, man. All right. Let's wrap this thing up and talk about holiday content prep. What do you got scheduled for what you guys are doing with your clients, and like how should you be thinking about holiday prep?
Yeah, especially in terms of, just prepping for like the content. I mean, hopefully everybody's already started, but I think right now is like the key time to start communicating gift guides, holiday inclusions, all of that's coming up, probably mid next month. Some guides already done. But I think like my recommendations in terms of like preparing, reach out to those publications, start those conversations, discuss rates, focus on minimum rates.
Okay.
CPAs are going to be going up during this time period. You're going to be fighting for organic inclusions if you don't have that flat spend. So make sure that your commission rates are optimized per kind of what your publication recommendations are. They're forthcoming. They'll be very happy to tell you need to raise it 10%. So they will be very forthcoming with what is competitive. So really focusing on that. And then also take a minute, work with your brand. This is another great time to also work with your PR teams or your brand's PR teams. Have discussions around some of their own internal gifting moments. What are their campaigns, their email campaigns? Understand what products they see perform really well during these times and start to curate kind of your own gift guides for these publications. I know I've already scoured the internet and I know what the top gift guides were for 2023 and 2022. I'm working with our entire portfolio of clients for everybody to select, those products that fall into those categories. Just trying to do as much work for these content sites ahead of the game as possible has been great. And then also focus on kind of locking in those packages. If you are going to be investing flat spend into it, get those done very soon.
Yeah.
Will sell out based on like top converting first. So, and that sticker price doesn't always stay or change for it. So get in early, get in some of the top performers, figure out what works well. Again, these content commerce partners are great across the board. They really are in tune with editorial, but also kind of this affiliate business side of things. So lean on them as well. But yeah, it's crunch time. It's horrifying.
I mean, it's not crunch time to you. You got time. Like, don't worry about
I
it.
like to think my crunch time comes now because then I get like this weird week of like nothing's happening because no one's running sales. Everything's already booked. I recommend it for anyone who always has to work on Black Friday is work ahead and have like a lull week.
Yeah.
When everything is done, images are sent over, assets completed, and relax.
Man, you are missing out on that procrastination buzz, bro. Like that is a high that you can't pay for, like unless you wait until last minute.
Okay, you know what? For those adrenaline junkies that like gets people really excited playing with their clients' money and want to book things last minute, you have like another 3 weeks. Just relax. Everything's fine.
There you go. That's the spirit. That's what I wanted to hear. So you're doing all this research. What's the next Tickle Me Elmo? What's the next Beanie Baby for this season coming up?
I don't know. I don't know yet. It's gonna be like tough to tell. But I'm thinking, people are getting out and about. I think fashion and athleisure kind of had its moment, and I'm thinking like the next big thing this holiday season is gonna be clothes to wear outside the home. I got like this sense. Also, advent calendars. I don't know what it is, but everybody wants an advent calendar.
What?
Yes, it's like top on like all the publications I'm talking to, advent calendars. So like you want to put wine in the little boxes, great. You want to put makeup in the little boxes, great. You want to just like create something that's kind of like one, great. But like people are loving them.
That's weird.
It's so weird, but
I guess
like
trends do seem to come back, and advent calendars were so hot 70 years ago that
hey, I loved my advent calendar. It was a great thing. I loved my daily chocolate. Now that I'm an adult, it comes with a daily little bottle of wine, which I don't know what one I like more. Both were
that's
pretty
next
great.
level shit right there. All right, Joey.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, let's wrap this up. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can email me, Joey Osselson at Team Bespoke, and that email address is right on my LinkedIn. Otherwise, feel free to use the link in the chat and connect with me directly there.
Fantastic. So smart. Like people really forget how useful the LinkedIn connect with me button is. Having an email address that is actually working. I can't tell you how many Hotmails and Gmails I see like personal emails. Like, don't do that. Like, just update this. Everybody listening right now, go update your LinkedIn connect with me button. Joey, thanks for your time here, buddy. Next week, we're going to have Tyler Ryan talk about lifetime value numbers. I'm super excited about that. And Stephanie Robbins coming by and talking about Amazon Associates and how you can associate that with your affiliate program. Going to be some hot topics in there. If you want 15 minutes with me, go to dustinhouse.com/pod and I will point you in the right direction. Outside of that, Joey, really appreciate you being here. So good to hang out with you again, and appreciate your time, bud.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Dustin. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you out there, guys.